Hi, everyone. I wanted to give you guys a little medical update since I didn't talk about that when I did the brief tour of the garden yesterday and told you guys about the greenhouse I'm getting. The greenhouse actually came yesterday. It's in a box, and we're going to try to put it together on Sunday. Saturday, my husband will be going to a memorial for a friend of his who passed away. So we will be building it Sunday. Anyway, I'm really excited about that. And I'm excited about being able to grow plants through the winter without maybe bringing a bunch of bugs into my basement. So we'll see how it goes. But I get so much joy and it lifts my spirits to be outside in nature. So I'm hoping that having this greenhouse will help me keep my spirits up during the winter when it can get harder. I don't like, my life is very limited and very small. Like basically anything that I've done outside of going in my house, you've basically seen online because I've been so excited about being able to go out and do it. I've videotaped it. So I've gone to that park that I videotaped my walk in, and I've done that a few more times. Um, and one thing that was exciting, though, is that over the weekend, Mark and I found a place where we could eat outside with Maribel. So the restaurant had all kinds of outside seating and it wasn't too hot. And they actually had bowls with water and ice for the dogs and dog treats. So it was like the first time Mark and I ate out on a date in as long as I can remember. Like, I can't remember the last time we did that. And it's basically because, like, that's something that I can't do safely because would have to remove my mask to eat. And so we just haven't gone out. And also, there's been times when I wasn't allowed to eat any food prepared in a restaurant because my immune system was so low. So, those are two big things to be really happy about. I was able to eat food from a restaurant because my immune system is strong enough. And they had outdoor seating so that we could do that. So, I took some pictures when we're there, and maybe I can post them to the community so you can see. I know it's just eating out, but it's like an exciting thing for me. So I've thought a lot about the decisions I need to make about my health. I talked also briefly on text message with the nurse that does my immune infusions. She's so sweet. I love her. And we came up with a plan together. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do the 6 week chemo. At least that's my plan now. I will go in another, I guess, week basically, a week from tomorrow and get a chemo at 6 weeks from my last chemo. And I'm going to hope that it hasn't been too much time because like there's been all this rigmarole back and forth with the doctor about testing because I wanted some data to make sure I wasn't waiting too long. Even though my body was telling me to wait, I wanted, because I'm a statistician by trade, I'm still having a hard time like completely trusting my intuition because my whole adult life has been based on making decisions based on data and doing studies and figuring out things based on trends. Um, Much more so than my intuition. So I've been working on developing my intuition ever since 2020 when I almost died because I didn't follow it because I wasn't in tune with the signals. Um, so that's one of the biggest things I can recommend if you are going through some medical treatment. The biggest thing is to be in tune with your body and your intuition so that you can know, because the doctors don't know as much as you know if you're in tune with your body. Everything is now, I've learned, is based on these standard protocols, and we're not standard. So a lot of times the protocols have to be changed, and the doctor's not going to be the one to change those unless you're telling them that you're experiencing things different than normal. So yeah, it's just really important to get back in touch with your body. Do things like, even like small meditations, like not like, I know a lot of people don't like to meditate, but just like body scans where you think about, how does my head feel? How does my neck feel? And you just pay attention to how different parts of your body feel. And I also would suggest that you take notes and make a record of how you're feeling, because sometimes you can forget. You can forget like how sick you got. And also, it can be hard to remember in history. Um, Sometimes you can have a hard time knowing, like, oh, do I feel worse now, or did I feel worse in the past, etc. So I definitely suggest take notes and keep track of everything. Um, so just some things that I do to try to help me make it through this treatment. Like I said, I wasn't supposed to live past 2020, but that was not an option for me. Because of my kids. And so I just like bared down, and thank God I made it through it. But, I could have died from being treated incorrectly, because the doctors were treating me a standard way, and I was not in touch enough with my body to say no earlier. Like, I was telling them what was going wrong. They were not getting it, and I needed to know and have the confidence in myself, which I didn't have, to be able to say no. And I guess that's why I'm talking about this so much, is because I want everybody who is watching these videos to have that confidence and to believe in themselves, and to trust themselves over what experts may say. Um, but that said, don't go down a rabbit hole with ChatGPT, because ChatGPT will agree with everything you say, basically. And you don't want that, because you do want some people to give you some good feedback. So talk to your loved ones about your medical decisions. Talk to your doctors if you can, if they're doctors that you can talk to. Even I talk to my family doctor, who's because he's can be easier to talk to than my oncologist. And he gives me good feedback about places I can look, and things that he's seen in the past as well. So my decision will be, I'll do chemo. Now, I was scheduled for an immune infusion 2 days before chemo. I decided to move that until 5 days after chemo, basically because I didn't want to get a whole bunch of good immune cells on Tuesday and then have them wiped out by the chemo on Thursday. So I know the immune cells I get in my immune infusion are non-cancerous. So, but they would still be killed by the chemo, because the chemo targets immune cells with a certain protein, all immune cells with that protein. And that includes some that you don't want to kill. So what I decided was, I'll do the chemo on Thursday, and then basically get my body to recover from the chemo, let it wash out a few days, and then the following Tuesday, I will get my immune infusion, which will hopefully help me recover from the chemo. And then if I can make it through the chemo without feeling as terribly sick as I did last time, then I will keep on the schedule of chemo every 6 weeks, and I'll get the immune infusion every 3 weeks, but I'll schedule it so that every other week it happens after the chemo. So that is my plan now. Let's hope it works. Let's hope I can get through it. It feels good for me. I can still get out and start to do things because, as I've mentioned on these videos before, I have spent more than 5 years basically in my home, not being able to go out and do a bunch of things. And, people unfortunately can forget that you're here. You don't get a lot of visitors, etc., especially if they have to wear a mask. So I've been pretty isolated for these past 5 years and not been able to go out and do a lot of things. That said, I've developed a lot of skills. I can now make candles. Um, I'm not a great watercolor painter, but I can paint a card or a tag or something like that. I can now make things with polymer clay. And I'm learning about gardening. So I guess I've learned how to keep myself occupied without having those social interactions and going out and doing things. So um, yeah, and so when I do go out and I just like when Mark and I were out at the restaurant, it was just a very interesting experience to see all the different people and everything. So anyway, that's my update for my health. I also wanted to talk about my mental health with everything going on in the country, which I won't talk about, except to say that a lot of people who may be on the LGBTQ or be different in other ways are some of them are pretty scared right now. And so I just wanted to encourage, if there's anyone in your life who you feel maybe feeling frightened or may be concerned, I would just suggest that you reach out to them, check in on them and see how they're feeling. Reach out and support them. Don't assume that everything is okay. Don't assume that they're good with everything. Ask how they're doing. Be a support and just listen. You don't have to solve anything. Just listen. So that's just my little recommendation about the mental health. For me, I've been trying to do radical self-care by getting out in nature. I have some Palo Santo and I have some sage from my garden and some sage also that I've purchased. I've been clearing the energy, meditating, putting on nice chants and things like that, and just working on keeping my area in a vibration of love. Love. So that's what I've been doing, and I hope and I pray that everyone has been finding ways to keep themselves feeling good and positive. I love you all so much.